It is the first day of spring, though a cold one in the Northeast, as we welcome you to Brooklyn and the Barclays Center for this South Region second round encounter. And we will feature the Iowa Hawkeyes out of the Big Ten and the Villanova Wildcats out of the Big East. It's a 7 seed against a 2. Take a look at the lower left-hand corner. Iowa and Villanova meeting here for the right to advance to Louisville and to take on a 3rd seed, the Miami Hurricanes. Hi once again, everybody. Vern Lundquist along with Jim Spanarkel. Let's talk right about the difficulty that Villanova has had in getting past this second weekend.
The only good thing, Vern, is they've been playing well recently, and they've been 6 of 7 they've won, and they've been shooting the basketball very well. The other night against Asheville, they shot 46% from the three-point stripe. That's a big part of their offense, and they'll continue that this afternoon.
They are trying to get to the second weekend.
Right.
That's the best for second game. Well, Iowa was number 3 in the country at one point. They really slumped at the ending. Which one's going to show up?
Well, that's a great question. I think Fran McCaffrey's trying to figure that out. They have only won 3 out of their last 9 games coming into this game, but they did play a half a game the other night against Temple. That was a very strong half for them. Now, obviously, they needed a bucket at the end, a buzzer beater to win that basketball game also.
Well, Fran McCaffrey is in his 6th year in Iowa City, and the lineup for the Hawkeyes at the top of the line: Gasell, Clemens, Jock, Uthoff, and Woodbury. Villanova starts Archie Diacono, Brunson, Hart, Jenkins, and Daniel Ochefu. And Jay Wright in his 15th season as the Villanova head coach. Archie Diacono controls, gets it to the right side. First jumper of the game is short. Rebound, Uthoff. The officials: Michael Stevens, Kip Kissinger, and Bill Covington. Perfect for Uthoff.
So they set the tone early. Villanova gets it. They shoot within 5 seconds from the three-point stripe. Uthoff is the type of guy who's going to look to shoot that basketball whenever he gets it. We got an early foul out front to start things off. Maybe a little bit of the anxiety with Clemens to start things off out front. No need to foul right there.
Chris Jenkins will inbound. Puts it in the hands of Jalen Brunson, freshman out of New York. Archie Diacono, beautiful.
Well, if they could get Ochefu to come out at the free throw line, Vern, that just opens it up very easily. Ooh, look at Jay Wright.
Yeah.
He wanted to make that call.
He's asking for help.
He should turn and ask about the 500 people behind them in the Villanova shirts. They would help him a little better. Jay trying to work one early on the officials. Nice
pass. Wow. And Uthoff short with the shot. It will be Villanova ball.
There's that little defensive ability of Villanova to squeeze the middle of the floor on Uthoff that time. And Fran McCaffrey working the officials also, even though that was just a good call. Go the other way with it.
Jenkins. Archie Diacono, that's for 3. And, oh my gosh. Wow. Let's get the bounce.
That's it. And that gives them the opportunity to set up a little bit of a 1-2-2, trying to trap if they can. Nice release pass out front.
This is Gasell. 3 from the corner is good. Peter Jock.
Vern, if you recall, and I'm sure you do, Jock started this game very nicely the other day against Temple in the first half, shooting the basketball, then kind of went silent. But if Uthoff and Jock are hitting their shots, it'll be very interesting for Iowa, because then they won't have to plug it on the blocks.
Interesting, yesterday at the end of practice, all the team went into the locker room, saved 2 guys. And there's a basket from Josh Hart. Jock and Uthoff stayed out here and shot 3s with some of the training staff for about 10 full minutes.
And interesting enough, they both hit their first shots. Villanova, you know, Vern, we've spoken about them and their style, and they shoot the ball quite a bit from the three-point line. But already we've seen 2 drives to the basket. I don't think they believe their shot blockers on the floor for Iowa, so they're going to test it out early, which I think makes a whole lot of sense.
This is Gasell. He was 0 for 8 from the field yesterday. Closely guarded, and a foul is going to be called on Clemens, I believe. How about the defensive effort of Daniel Oshefu?
So here's that bounce pass, which is a tough one, and it's an easy call for the officials with Clemens again out front.
And Clemens picks up his 2nd foul. Underneath Oshefu. Oh, dear. That's embarrassing.
It sure is. And they
for 3, Hart. Nope. Oshefu makes amends. Yeah.
That one I think went through, Vern. The first one not so much, but that one I think he finished.
He had a really terrific game in the first round in the win over UNC Asheville.
Yeah, I was thinking Woodbury's got to slow him down at the other end. He put this on the floor. Go by him.
Utah lost it. Hell ball. And it's going to be Iowa ball.
One of the things that Fran McCaffrey, coach of Iowa, was talking about, if this guy gets the ball in there, he's dangerous. Not so much on that first trip, but they get the ball back, and he continues to work, and not so bad on that one.
No. Oshefu is going to get a rest. And Mikal Bridges, a freshman redshirt from Malvern, Pennsylvania, is on the floor, whereas number 25. Gasell.
And as you touched on a moment ago, Vern, 0 for 8 from the floor against Temple. And Fran McCaffrey was saying he's got a nice mid-range game. He shoots the 3 okay, but I'm hoping that he can step up his play this afternoon. So it's nice to see that shot go down.
Foul is called. Let's see who they got.
Iowa foul is on 14, Peter Jock.
Peter Jock.
So already the aggressiveness of Villanova has created 3 fouls on Iowa already. You see, and they're a very, very good free throw shooting team, so they're really trying to work themselves into the free throw line early in this one.
Nice pass. Shot from Archie Diacono. No, off the mark. Another attempt to steal. Archie Diacono got it. Around the world and down. Basket good.
Making things happen with their transition. And the defense is really closing in on Iowa early.
Hart. Pull-up jumper. Oh, he's got 2 now, which is twice as many as he had yesterday.
Just, you know, as a senior, you just have to realize the moment. Just pull. I love the way for a second there he pulled that ball back with 1 dribble just to kind of reload, reset yourself on the offensive end. But what it does also, it resets your thinking process instead of just running into a play that's not there.
Skip pass.
Yeah, they throw that well. Over the top.
Brunson's shot, no good. Villanova, early lead.
Well, they're getting down on the floor. It's a clean floor, but they're getting dirty and going with it as quickly as they can.
15-13 to go, first half. Villanova by 1, and time to check in with Allie LaForce.
Thank you, Vern. This Villanova senior class has already accomplished so much. They're the winningest class in school history. They guided their team to a #1 ranking during the regular season for the first time in school history, and they have 3 consecutive Big East regular season titles. But for them, there's a huge piece missing from that puzzle, and that's advancing out of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. And when I talked to Ryan Arcidiacono, he said, this is not only the biggest game of the year, but it's the biggest game of our lives. If we go out there and play like we played the last 4 years, we can't leave with regrets. But the only way to stop the conversation about we can't get out of that first weekend is to show by our actions, and we're ready to do that tonight.
All right, Ellie, thank you. You and I saw Ryan Arcidiacono before the player introductions all by himself at the end of the bench. in a moment of prayer.
Absolutely. Deep thought, getting ready mentally for this one, and now they come back with a little bit of a zone look.
Christian Williams, who only averages 4 minutes per game, is on early. This was in the pregame. At the end of the bench, Ryan Archidiacono. He's been the heart and soul of this team, named as a freshman captain.
Yep, and you're just trying to get your thoughts there, Vern, in terms of settle down, because the emotions can take over a little bit.
Utah, guarded by Echefu. Here's Gazelle. He's hit 2 shots. Josh Hart out on him.
Nova switching to that man-to-man from the zone.
That's kicked. Well, let's take a look at behind the stats presented by LG. We talk about Villanova not advancing. It's been a long time for Iowa. But look at that. 3 turnovers against Temple. And Villanova's 77.7 free throw percent this season.
And Vern, what we're seeing early with Jay Wright and Frank McCaffrey's team has to react to it is the changing defenses. Just try to confuse the point guard, confuse him a little bit, take some time off the clock.
This is Dom Ewell, number 25. That's Gazelle weaving his way through and a little too strong with the up and under. Now Mikal Bridges.
And from a guard's perspective, that's what you want to do. You want to reverse to the other side, but you constantly look for somebody to track that shot and try to block it.
Bridges off the glass. Brunson, rather.
Now, one of the things, these guards are very good at holding their pivot foot down, which means that they can pivot and swing and turn in the lane and try to look for an opportunity to go when you relax defensively.
Utah.
Ewell just stepping back too, Vern. I thought Utah was going to go off the dribble real fast just then, but he fumbled the ball halfway up, and Ewell just pops right out. Guy who's shooting the ball at 46% from the 3-point stripe.
Brunson jumper. Loose ball, rebound, Bridges. Jenkins goes high, and they got the basket and the free throw. So
Villanova has been looking to go to the glass. Oh, here's that little post up down low and too much strength. You know, one of the things when you look at Villanova, and a lot of people I think, Vern, think, well, you know, they shoot the ball from the 3-point stripe a lot. And they do. About 45% of their offense comes from the spot-ups, you know, the catch-and-shoot type of plays. But when you look at their lineup, you got Jenkins, who's 6'6", 240, not a small guy. Bridges at 6'7", Reynolds at 6'8". I don't think they're just a perimeter team, but I think people tag them that way sometimes.
Another Philly guy. Darrell Reynolds gets the 3-point play. Peter Jock is back on, and Jared Utah will get a rest. Gazelle, Jock, Woodbury at the free throw line. Kicks it out to Jock, who kicks it back and then misfire. Woodbury couldn't get it to complete the play.
He did put one in against Temple, though, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Put back in overtime at the buzzer. And they defeated the Temple Owls. Jenkins, yes. That's inside the arc. That's for 2.
And they continue to look to the middle of the floor, too, Vern. That's what's collapsing the Iowa defense, and they are great at driving it and kicking it. And we're seeing that as a little bit of a clinic, a couple of trips down the floor.
Nice. Woodbury.
He's got to go stronger than that.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes bigs will float that shot there, but when you have Ochefu standing behind you, I know he'll block a shot from time to time, but you have to throw your shoulders right into him and see what happens, even if you get a charge on that play.
This is Jalen Brunson, the freshman, guarded by Gazelle. That's Jenkins for 3. Jock In the corner, Bear for three. No. Brunson for Villanova. They've scored the last 8.
And they're settling it down because right now Brunson, and that's a smart play. 3 or 4 Iowa players were back. Early on in this game, he understands the importance of keeping the rhythm going.
Here comes Gasell. Ball's on the floor. He picks it. Leaves it. Beautiful. Wow, that was pretty.
I'm not sure how Bear got in there with the little shoulder dip. Then he brought it back. But Gasell, to my eye, early in this game, looks like he's settled in, though. That was a good recovery in the backcourt. He brought the ball up the floor, making good decisions, finding one of his teammates for a layup. Coming after an 0 for 8 night, as we spoke about the other night against Temple. It's good to see a senior, get his head together and play well early on.
From the corner, Brunson. Got it.
Tell you what, Vern, I like those baskets down there for Villanova. They've had 2 of them that have been pretty friendly on the rims.
Woodbury, nice find. Bear off the glass.
All of a sudden, a team, Iowa, that doesn't really go post up all that much. I think they've recognized the fact that Villanova doesn't block a lot of shots, only 3 per game. Ochefu will get his blocks because he blocked 2 the other night. But I think you just have to keep going in there and see what happens.
Phil Booth, number 5, off the bench. Jumper. Chris Jenkins, 2 more.
Good ball fake.
Yes. There's the floater that worked.
Exactly. And the time for your floater is when you're out about 7 feet from the basket and you're a guy who can handle the ball. It's a lot easier to get that off the dribble and float it over the big guy because he has to take 2 steps out. When you're a big guy like Woodbury, if I had that body, Vern, you know what you do? You put the muscle on somebody if you're big.
Wow. Here comes Dom Ewell. Bear, pull up 3, off the mark. Rebound Chefu for the Wildcats.
That's part of their offense, believe it or not, but I think just a little too quick. They did that the other day against Temple a few times, but that's the way they play. They look to go up and down a little bit more than what Nova does. Now they slide back into a 2-3 zone.
Around the perimeter, Phil Booth, Woodbury. There's a foul called. 26-19. 9:06 to go, first half.
The only way you get this roll, Vern, is if you shoot the ball softly.
NCAA.com and in the March Madness Live app. And it's time for our Infinity Coaches Spotlight. We'll focus on Fran McCaffrey in his 6th season. One of 12 coaches to lead 4 schools into the tournament, and McCaffrey has never led a team into the NCAA. Phil Booth at the line for Villanova. Reading about Fran McCaffrey, we enjoyed chatting with him yesterday. He's a Philly guy.
Yes, he is.
He's got his BS degree from the Wharton School of Economics and a master's degree, but he was known when he was playing as White Magic.
He sure was. Fran was a good player in his day. A little bit of a gamble. You're up 9. You go for that gamble. You're down 9. You don't go for that gamble.
Well, that's already the 3rd turnover for Iowa. That equals the number of turnovers they had in their game against Temple. Archie Diacono had to call timeout and gets to have a chat with Jay Wright. He'd look for a teammate. He gave up the dribble. He couldn't find anybody open.
Yeah, it's like kind of where he gives it up here, but hey, where is everybody?
See the defender get away from him?
Sup. All right, we all wearing our lucky socks, right?
Check.
Look out for your taste with Coca-Cola in the NCAA tournament. Inbound, and they do have a full 10 seconds.
They do. Because if not, they'd be in trouble with the way they were passing the ball back then. Nice double team on the sideline.
What a skip pass, huh?
Beautiful. Oh, not today.
The rejection from Ahmad Wagner, number 0.
After that terrific pass across the court, Wagner just times that perfectly, doesn't he? He sends it out of bounds. So do a Bill Russell on me.
Yeah.
Bill Russell would keep that in play, but
Archie Diacono with the jumper off the rim. Utah chases it down. And Iowa, here's Gasell. Nicholas Baird, jump stop, beauty. Boy, he has had effective minutes off the bench.
He sure has. Vernon, one of the things he's doing is he's using his body to try to figure out how to get in there at 6'7", 200. He's kind of slicing through, and I love the way he finished that shot off by pulling it away just a little bit, not to get it touched or deflected.
Archie Diacono, Phil Booth for 3. Perfect. We had the perfect angle on that one. You could see when it left his hand, it was bound for the bottom of the net.
And because Villanova had been driving to the basket early in this game, I think Iowa's not attacking the perimeter as they normally do. They're a pretty good closeout perimeter team.
Well, they leave Bear open. There's a block. Looked like it was Darrell Reynolds. He's going to get to the bench. Ochefu is back on. Gasell for Iowa. Dom Mule.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by GMC, Jiffy Lube, and by Amazon Echo.
We're back in Brooklyn, and thus far, Villanova has outscored Iowa by 10. Bench points, 11. 8 of those from Nicholas Baird, the freshman, for Iowa, and 8 off the bench for Villanova. As we get back to play, let's check. Utah is on the floor, so is Gasell. Ahmad Wagner. Nicholas Baird has earned more playing time with that 8-point effort. Jock. Up and under and too strong. Tipped out of bounds. Villanova ball.
A little sluggish at the offensive end for Iowa. And Jock just a little bit wild trying to finishing that off. And Fran McCaffrey switches to his look at the 1-2-2. Try to speed Villanova up a little bit.
Allie?
The focus of Villanova's huddles have been continue to pressure the ball. They think they're doing a great job in that aspect of the game and also really focus on the off-ball screens.
And Allie on cue there. Defensively, Iowa goes the other way with aggressive defense. And the ball is up high. And watch this last move right here to push off. And the official, by the way, is right over here looking at that play. So he's got a perfect angle. The other one makes the call also. But both of these officials were right on that call.
Yep. So the foul on Ochefu. Here's Gasell. Jock, catch and release. Off the mark, rebound, loose ball. And it winds up in the laps of the Villanova radio announcers.
Was that Whitey Rigsby over there?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell whether he caught it or not. And Bear pretty active, earning his minutes. Guy who scores at about 5 points a clip, coming off the bench for Iowa and Fran McCaffrey and giving them a much-needed lift, even though they're still down 10 at the 7-minute mark.
You want me to test your geography?
Okay.
He's from Bettendorf, Iowa. Do you know where that is? You know that Jenkins just hit a 3.
Just a little west of here, I'm guessing.
It's part of the Quad Cities.
Oh, there you go.
On the Mississippi. Davenport, Moline, Rock Island. Oh gosh.
That was a little awkward, the way Hart came down just then.
Iowa fouls on the team with the 7. His first, team 6.
You know, the body action was up high, Vern, but I think it might have been a little bit of a jam on the foot. There it is, down below. Yeah, everybody looks up high, and you get a little jam of that right foot, and it looks like the ankle gave just a touch.
Josh Hart at the line after the foul by Gasell.
In for Villanova, number 25, Mikal Bridges.
Phil Booth and Mikal Bridges in for Villanova. Archie Diacono and Jenkins head to the Villanova bench. Archie Diacono is getting a little advice from, looks like the trainer. 2 free throws, good.
They got to get Utah involved here sooner or later. I mean, maybe a little baseline screen they like to run for him. This is a matchup zone, and it's aggressive, isn't it?
Yeah, Brunson was in the lane then. From the corner, Bear, no, not this time.
You get the sense, Vern, that they're rushing to get into the shot?
Yes.
Yeah, they got to calm down. That was a rush shot. They're almost like in the panic mode. If I don't take this shot, I may not get a better one. And you got to work that clock if you're struggling.
Villanova has scored 8 in a row and established the largest lead of the game at 15. Back outside, Brunson saves it. 5 on the shot clock. Bridges, entry pass, Ochefu. 2 on the shot clock. Backdoor pass. They did not beat the clock.
No, they did not.
Back in for Iowa, number 34, Adam Woodbury.
Watch Masters live on CBSSports.com for exclusive video of Amen Corner 15 and 16. Featured groups plus highlights and analysis. I got to go to my golf voice here. Watch live on CBSSports.com and Masters.com.
I've been waiting 2 years for that. Thank you.
Well, it's always a thrill to get to go back and be a part of it. Rebound Villanova. They'll slow it down.
At one point in the year, we touched on it earlier, Iowa's worked their way up to the number 3 team in the country. They've lost 6 out of their last 9 games. And they're giving up threes, but they're playing like a team that's been struggling. Not the number 3 team in the country at one point.
Yeah, we saw a lot of life, especially in the first half of their game against Temple. Slowed down a little in the second, wound up having to win it. Here's Jock. That'll help. That's for 3 for Peter Jock. They wound up winning in overtime on Woodbury's putback. But look at this.
Picking them apart. Jay Wright's team has a clinic going on at the offensive end of the floor. And defense isn't all that bad either. Ooh, they may have gotten Bridges with a little bump foul underneath on Woodbury. So the dunk is a big part of this play, but the extra pass into the middle, fill and give it up and go. And that's just finding a way. They were camped and stuck in snow at half court. Nobody retreating back.
Mike Cassell will inbound. Peter Jock guarded by Phil Booth. Another turnover. Here's Jenkins.
He had a trailer behind him, though.
Yeah, he did.
They just can't get Utah a shot right now. He's only 1 for 2.
Little elbow thrown by Woodbury. He gets the pass, and it's going to be Iowa ball.
You know, Jenkins gets the steal here, but that's maybe one of his easier ones of the season. Utah just not catching the ball, and we'll give that another friendly rim.
Well, the Villanova fans, it's, 90 minutes up here from Philly?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. Well, do you train, or you want to try the Jersey Turnpike?
I've been on that before.
Hours I've been.
Yes.
Hours. Utah into the corner. Christian Williams for 3.
Christian Williams.
Now, if ever they needed a basket, remember with the backcourt, Brunson and Archie Diacono, 2 point guards on the floor with Booth, who's pretty good at it also.
Back outside for Booth. That's for 3, and that looks good. Wow.
I don't want to knock Iowa's defense too much, Vern, but guess what? If you're standing around shooting rhythm jump shots, these guys will make more than 45 or 50% of those types of shots. Iowa is in trouble defensively. And Woodbury moving out front.
Yeah. Moving screen. Time call. I was an English teacher, and I specialized in grammar. You have pointed out that with soft shots, the rim can be kind, and even with hard shots.
We have seen that a bunch, three or four times already, but the truth of it is that there have been a bunch of shots that Nova has not even used the rim. They've been shooting so smoothly.
Coming up on AT&T at the half, Greg, Clark, and Kenny will have first half analysis, and they'll tell you about Xavier's Trayvon Blewett's patriotic family ties. That's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Jenkins, another three. That's only the fourth miss. They're 7 of 11 now. And Utah just hasn't been a part of all this.
No, he hasn't. You know, his minutes on the floor, 13 minutes or so, he's only got 2 shots. You may have to force feed him once or twice. Get him on the block, see what he can do with it.
And he's got Chris Jenkins fronting him now. He pops outside.
And you got to put the ball on the floor and go by him a step or two.
Good defense by Jenkins. Ball away, no. Put back, no. Rebound. Darrell Reynolds, number 45. It ain't happening for Iowa right now.
It is not. Jay Wright continues. After that game against Asheville, he didn't really expend a whole lot of minutes from individual players on his bench with the big win and lead. And he's rotating guys in very nicely now.
Baseline, Utah picks off the errant pass. Wagner, no call. Jock in the corner, Ewell. Air ball. They'll let him have it now.
You see the quickness of that shot again, Vern?
Yeah.
I know they like to take them quickly in their sets, but I think you really need to work and get to the free throw line or charge into the basket. You're not just going to outshoot Villanova.
Nice quick move by Booth. Missed it. And the rebound. Peter Jock of the Hawkeyes.
Wow, another Booth. Ooh.
They called the foul.
His first, team fifth.
That's his first.
Let's see, does he get the arm? Yeah, I think he gets the arm. He doesn't keep it free. The ball comes free, but that's because he has a hand on the arm of the player. And this time of year, that ball goes loose. 2, 3, 4 guys are going to be charging down after it. And just can't get to their sets offensively.
See if we can get this one. There you are, finally.
He's pretty good. I will tell you this, when he hits a little bit of body contact on the defender, he has the ability to space and get his shot off. Now he trips.
Well,
Iowa foul is number 20, Jared, Utah.
watch live games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming dance. Oh, dear gosh. With NCAA March Madness Live, watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today. I'm your guy. If you need instructions, what do you think?
I'm just going to call you. You've now turned into a computer geek as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, hashtag. That's my middle name. That was at dinner last night, and it did come in very handy.
It did. You were updating the scores?
I was doing play-by-play. The folks at adjacent tables weren't thrilled.
Who's this guy reading scores all night? What's wrong with him? Is he out on leave?
Got a nighttime pass.
Exactly.
But I had to stay in the neighborhood.
Upstairs. Nice defensive work.
Sure was. That was here at the other end. Yep.
Brunson knew at half court, Vern, as a lefty, he was on the left side of the floor just then, that was not going to get challenged.
What a dominating performance.
Wow, another one.
Fran McCaffrey has seen enough.
I don't know what he's going to say in this huddle, Fran McCaffrey, because Nova, they just need this to disappear and get to the break.
All right, it's Ford Truck Month. This is the time, this is the place, and this is Ford F-150.
Iowa in any half this year. I don't know what Fran McCaffrey did say. I can't imagine what he could say.
There's, you know, at this particular point, guys, don't turn the basketball over. Try to get one bucket out of this, and we'll regroup in the locker room. But I can't imagine that Jay Wright's team, as good as they've been all season long, has played a half anywhere near as well and consistent as this is. Look at their defense, Vern.
Yeah.
And they're turning their D into strong offensive transition.
I thought Stephen F. Austin was playing his second game.
Good point.
Wow. Another miss.
Go up.
Rebound. Another rejection.
2-on-1 break on the delay.
15 seconds. Archie Diacono. Utah. With 4.7 seconds to go.
They're just making it happen. And watch the way they fan out. So now you give yourself a little room to separate 2-on-1 breaks. If you're so tight and running the floor tightly, you're not going to be able to make an easy bounce pass. And Fran McCaffrey's having trouble with his team on the half-court sets, Vern, and in transition. And
free throw line.
He's an 82% free throw shooter.
Yeah. Oh, missed them both. So at the buzzer, nope, doesn't matter.
He hit one against Asheville. I think he was thinking of the buzzer right at the end of the first half.
You're right. Well, a standing ovation given to Jay Wright and the Wildcats of Villanova. Let's go to Allie, who is with Jay Wright.
Coach, your defense showed no mercy, holding both Jock and Utah to just 2 made field goals each. How'd you do it?
I don't know, really. They're great players. We probably can't play any better defensively. So our challenge in the second half is they're a great offensive team. How are we going to withstand the push? I know we're not going to play that well defensively, but we got to play close.
Your offense is scoring in every way, including 7 made three-pointers. How have you been able to create those opportunities?
Well, we've created a lot of turnovers. So when we're out in transition, we're getting some open threes, and then we're getting some easy buckets off of our defense.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Allie, thank you. That's the end of the first half with the score Villanova shockingly leading Iowa 54-29. AT&T at the half after this message and a word from your local station.
Lowe's. And by Geico.
I got something we can sell you. The Brooklyn Bridge. That's it. 54-29 Villanova. First half stats. This is going to be tilting toward the blue, don't you think?
It really has, and Villanova, Vern, just really playing as well as I've seen them over the years, and not to steal one of your lines, but this might be a wow as far as how Villanova has played. And
yeah.
Iowa just, you know, and not making fun of Iowa. I've been there before as a player. When you get punched in the first half, you have to figure out a way to come back and be just gutty, test yourselves as a team, and play hard. That's all you can be asked to do right now is play hard and see if something good happens.
Well, let's check in with Allie LaForce.
Coach McCaffrey told me at the half, you know, we have to get stops, not just stops, but consecutive stops. He's like, some of those plays are leading to made baskets, easy baskets for them. We can't turn the ball over, and on top of that, we have to have Utah be more aggressive out there. He's getting some shots, but he needs to create for himself, and we need to create for him so he can get more shots and better shots.
All right, Allie, thank you.
Well, he's right, Allie, too, because Fran's a bright guy. He's got the economics degree, and he knows the math does not add up if you're going to trade buckets from this point on. I can figure that one out.
There's a line there, but I'm just going to let it go.
Okay. And there's a positive for Iowa.
It's a chance for me to remind everybody that you make fun of yourself, but you're twice an academic All-American at Duke.
Thank you, Vern. And
well, you told me to say that.
I did.
Look at the Sheffield.
That's why I'm relying on you for the technology from now on.
Yeah. Don't waste your time. Into the corner. Woodbury backs in. Nice jumper, but too soft. Offensive board. Gasell. Now they hit only 40% in the first half, and they're off for a donut here. Yeah, I'm just looking at Fran McCaffrey and reading about him before. He's a Philly guy, as we've said.
Right.
He played with one of your teammates, Gene Banks.
He sure did.
Yeah.
Tinkerbell from Philadelphia. He's a great player, a teammate of ours in 1978 when we went to the lost in the championship game.
Iowa fouls up 14, Peter Jock. His second.
Iowa Villanova, the winner of this one, goes to Louisville for a Thursday encounter with Miami. Jim Larinaga having a heck of a year down there with the Hurricanes. That foul is on Peter Jock. That's his second. Jay Wright.
Miami playing well, aren't they, with Rodriguez leading the way? And
oh gosh, yes.
They get some nice balance in their team, and we're seeing balance at both ends of the floor for Villanova so far.
Jalen Brunson has it in his hands now. Guarded by Clemens.
They only really have to play half as well as they did in the first half, Vern, to put this one away. But let's see if I know Iowa's not going to go away from an aggressive standpoint and work at it.
Nice feed. Jalen Brunson off the glass after the feed from Ochefu. And here's Utah. See if he does get more aggressive. That one off the back rim. Outlet pass, Hart. No numbers here, but it doesn't matter.
Maybe they knocked them out in the first half because they're coming after them again, Villanova. The question becomes, and sure Jay Wright worried about it, how do you play at that pace? And they played that pace for the first 2 minutes here in the second half.
Well, remember he told Allie as they went into the locker room, I don't think we can equal that defensively in the second half. That was extraordinary what we saw from Villanova. Bear getting ready to come back in for Iowa. Here's Jenkins. Jumper, Archie Diacono. Leave him that open and say goodnight.
And the thing is that what's impressed me the most about Villanova is the fact that they're getting these shots in stride. They go to the basket. If Iowa catches up to them to close the drive to the basket, their kickouts have been exceptional so far.
Wow. Another turnover. That was off the pass of Clemens. And now Brunson, the lead is at 30, and we've still got 17 minutes to play. Jenkins. Nope. It's going to be a foul on Hart.
We talk about the balance for Villanova. Here's that cut to the basket. Relatively simple. A little drift. More difficult shot by Hart. And here's the one I really like. Just to drive it to the middle of the floor if I was going to close the lane up. And Jay Wright's squad. I mean, I don't think, as he touched on with Allie, I mean, whether he could duplicate the second half defensively, but I'd flip to the offense and say, you know, over the last 3 or 4 years, Jay, have you really seen any of your teams play this well at the offensive end of the floor?
Little blood on the floor. Hart was cut, so he's getting medical attention on the bench. And that was taken care of expeditiously. How about this defensive effort? We're going to talk about this for a long time.
And what they do off the turnovers, too. Never allowing Iowa to get into any of their sets in the half court. Just about every time out front. Foul line extended. Whenever they had the basketball, they were off to the races, making life easy on the transition.
12 points off turnovers for Villanova, none for Iowa. Feed the middle, take the jumper. Tipped out by Ochefu. And Gasell gets caught over the back.
Foul is number 10, Mike Gasell. His second, teams.
Tonight on CBS, the world's greatest detective uncovers a group of real-life superheroes. Don't miss this Super Elementary on its new night, tonight at 10, 9 Central, only CBS. Back outside, Archie Diacono Another one that's inside the arc. That's for 2.
And once again, Vern, you see where Hart got in trouble. 3 guys collapsed on him, and Arch is smart enough as they come back with a 2-on-1 again. Here we go. Layup.
Oh, no. Yep. Be unselfish.
Exactly. I mean, you have choices. I mean, Iowa just can't do anything.
Well, something. Bear has been the lone bright light for the Hawkeyes in this game.
And Bear played well in that first half with 8 points.
Turnover. Dom Ewell loses it out of bounds.
Well, here's another turnover, and off they go. 2-on-1, back and forth. As you touched on, Vern, very unselfish. That's why they're pretty good.
Virginia's Malcolm Brogdon, Buddy Hield of Oklahoma, Kentucky's Tyler Eulis, and Denzel Valentine of Michigan State. The winner will be announced Final Four Sunday down in Houston. Vern, Jim, and Allie, back to you.
All right, Greg, thank you. We could use your help here, 65-34. If you got any stories you'd like to just push your all-talk key and join us in our broadcast.
Love to have you.
65-34.
Utah and Jock not getting into any. They're not getting any clean touches even, Vern. They can't get into any kind of rhythm at the offensive end. And look at the ball hop.
Yeah. I mean, crisp.
Yes.
Quick passes. Archie Diacono. Mom and Dad are here. Both Villanova grads. Ochefu. Nope.
And he coming off the good game against Asheville. He's really only 1 for 3. They haven't needed him on the inside presence.
Yeah, he really played well in that Asheville game. Had 17 points. Was excellent defending. And this time they score over Ochefu. 65-36. Last time Villanova was in the Final Four, they got there by defeating Pittsburgh in the regional finals. Choose your favorite player on the court or for your taste with Coca-Cola and the NCAA tournament. One of the concourse food stands.
That worked.
Yeah. Synergy. And for more on Archie Diacono, here's Allie.
Yes, Vern, you mentioned that his parents both went to school at Villanova, so of course they wanted him to play there more than anything. But for Jay Wright, it was a really tough decision. He knew he was a local legend. So if he committed to Nova, he wanted to make sure that he was going to be great, that he could be a star, or he didn't want to take the chance. So when Ryan was really close to signing with Florida, Wright saw him play at an AAU tournament against a very athletic team and said that Ryan absolutely dominated, and it was that moment that he went all in on him, and he almost lost him to Florida. And trust me, Mrs. Archie Diacono was not happy about that. She was on the phone with Coach Wright in tears saying, please don't let him go to Florida. We have to get him to Nova.
And he did. And now you know the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say.
What a fabulous career. And Jay knew he was up against a decent recruiter and coach in Billy Donovan.
67-38. Utah has had a bit of a rest. He's getting ready to come back in. Only 5 points today. That one's for Bear. Puts it in.
Interesting enough, too, Vern, without Bear's contributions, he has 13 points of the 40. He averages 5 points a game. Where would they have been? What's this score look like without his contributions?
Archie Diacono, look at that pass. Back outside, he was on the line. Well, we mentioned the Archie Diaconos, Joe and Patty. Patty's a nurse, good friend of Patty Wright, Jay's wife. Joe is in the medical services sales area. Time to relax now.
I was just thinking the same exact thing. Relax a little bit while you can.
I think they're going to enjoy Louisville. That's as bold as I'm going to get. 67-40.
ball.
Off his foot.
Yep, his own foot.
Loose ball, Utah.
And Iowa has no choice but just to come up and try to press, try to trap as much as they can, but the ball handlers are very, very good. There we go.
Brunson, put back from Bridges, no. Saved by Chefu. This is for 3. Iowa.
Is that what your English grammar school teacher coming out just then a little bit with
Yeah. I enjoyed sitting in the corner. State of Iowa 4-0. How about that? Iowa State, Northern Iowa. And the Big East is 4-3. 2 of 5 still in. Villanova and Xavier. 67-42. Got it. That's just inside the arc. So Utah now with 7 points, 3 of 6 from the field.
There haven't been many confident sets. I'd say that was one of maybe 5 confident sets that Iowa has had.
A 13-2 Hawkeye run now.
Well, the one good thing about Iowa right now is that they are competing. Right? You know, you can't make all your shots. You know, things are going to happen. You'll turn the ball over, but play hard.
And they do. Jock saves it. Here comes Christian Williams. He threw it away. 3-on-3, no hurry at all.
And it's a blend of taking time off the clock at 11:30. And you still want to get into your sets and play it aggressively, but you don't have to go quickly at all. There's a good lob.
Well, another turnover. Getting a little sloppy here, but Villanova still leads 67-44. Hart and the layup. Phil Wood. Beg your pardon. Phil Booth. Well, anyway, the crowd applauded the way I did that.
They sure did. And Villanova, Vern, one of the things we have to touch on with when they played Asheville the other night, they had 5 guys in double figures. They generally right around 5 guys on average this year are averaging double figures, and now they have 4 guys in double figures. So I think if you ask Jay Wright one thing, he likes to win big, but if he can get a balanced attack, that really helps you in the NCAA tournament.
Loose ball. Timeout. Iowa. 11:08 to go. Villanova hoping to make a trip to Louisville. Villanova with 4 starters, each with 5 field goals. That's a bit of balance.
Yep, that's their trademark. And when they all touched the basketball and they were all playing with confidence as they did right from the get-go, it was pretty good. And
how do you like that? Does that make you happy? I think it does.
Puts new meaning to dancing in March.
Or maybe March Madness. 11 to go, and that one is going to be off of.
I thought that ball was bounced off Utah's foot.
So did Jay Wright.
Maybe the only break they've gotten this afternoon.
Right. And a foul called.
Villanova foul is on number 15, Ryan Archidiakono. His first.
Foul is on Archie Diacono. Iowa Villanova winner goes up against Miami. Kansas defeated UConn last night, so they'll be in Louisville as well. Back outside, Utah. Nope. And a foul is going to be called, I think, on Daryl Jenkins. Second round coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship begins today on ESPN, ESPN2, and Watch ESPN. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. It was on Reynolds.
Backing for Villanova, number 2, Chris Jenkins, and number 5, Phil.
That shot kind of sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just the feeling. You know, one of the things, too, from Villanova's perspective, Vern, when you go up 30 points, you know, and you're really dominating the play, people say, well, why don't they just keep going? It's difficult sometimes as a player. You want to keep doing it, you know, playing as well as you can, but you naturally just pull back the throttle a little bit. And when you pull back on your sets and run the clock out a little bit more, notice we haven't seen Villanova run the ball up the floor that much in this half. So now they're playing a little bit more controlled, and you just don't have the efficiency and the ease that they had in the first half.
Booth turnaround. Knocked out of bounds. Touch last by Josh Hart. Iowa ball. 67-44. 10:18 to go. Jay Rogers coaching the official over on that far side. Still.
They have to. What else is he going to do over there?
Yeah, well, that's good. Doesn't need to coach his guys. Not now. Here's Utah. Backs out, closely guarded. Jenkins was there. Jock. Shot clock at 7. Phil Booth with the rebound for the Wildcats.
Just not many easy looks.
Now the noise you hear is from the Villanova faithful. They're standing behind the Wildcat bench. Turnover. Yeah, there's not the same energy in this building that we had in the first half.
No, from really the Nova team also doesn't have the energy either.
Yeah.
You know, which I understand in terms of pulling back the throttle a little bit, but you know, Iowa just can't make a couple of shots in a row. They maybe could have gotten this thing under 20 if you're really the positive thinker, Vern, but they got to climb. Just, Villanova remembers with the guard play that they have and the perimeter play offensively, just really don't turn it over all that much carelessly.
Entry pass. Daniel Lechefu off the pass from Hart. 69-44.
He's only got 4 points. He has 11 rebounds, though. 2 block shots. So when they didn't need his scoring in the first half.
Utah goes to the ground. He was fouled. Lechefu, let's take another look at him.
So one of the things that he does well is see how he pushes the defender just slightly up the middle of the floor towards the free throw line. When you get him leaning that way, it's a perfect time for your guard to say, okay, defensively, you've pushed him out of the way. Now I can put the ball towards the basket.
Jenkins called for the foul on Utah. Utah in the ball game, 9 points on 4 of 9. 80+% free throw shooter. He's missed 2 today. He's just been off his game.
And then we'll give credit to the defensive effort of the perimeter going after him also. I was surprised that they didn't try to post him up once or twice. I know doesn't post up all the time, but he runs some baseline cuts. I didn't see any of them in the first half for him.
Jalen Brunson on for Villanova. 2 for 2 for Utah. So he is in double figures. He joins Nicholas Baer off the Iowa bench as the only 2 Hawkeyes in double figures. And whoa, Villanova almost had a 3-man radio booth then.
Again.
Yeah, Utah was right there. Archie Diacono, Brunson, Reynolds, Hart, Mikal Bridges. That's the 5 on the floor for Villanova. Nice. Oh, I thought it was a clean block. Official had a better view.
You're probably going to see a little bit of hand on the ball, but also the body. And here comes maybe across the arm. Not much of a foul, but One team aggressive up the bounce, and Fran McCaffrey and his troops are still trying to figure this one out. And I start to think too, you know, with a team like how Villanova is built, shooting the three, enough blend in the inside, but you know, what happens if two of your guys are not hitting that three? And what they did show me earlier in this game was they're not afraid to drive it. And I think they set the tone by driving to the basket early in this game to show people that they do have the ability to go after the glass.
They're perfect from the free throw line now, 9 of 9. Long jumper, put back is good. Bear, he's had some effective minutes off the bench. 15 points now to lead all Iowa scores. Trap, nothing saved. Brunson gets it back outside.
Nova averaging 77 points for the season, already at 71.
Here's Utah. There's a nice strong drive. Controlled the basketball, laid it in gently. Has his degree in economics, working on a master's degree in sports management now. Jared Utah.
Get a little turnover.
Yep.
Gazelle with the stop on the sideline.
71-50. Villanova leads it. Still excellent. And Jared Utah struggling for the most part today.
Started with the first two possessions where he made a bucket, and then everything else just collapsed, really. And the collapsing was really more so from the defense every time he put the ball down. But then he started to find his stroke a little bit. So right now he's 5 for 10 from the floor. And still, you look up and you're down 21. That 5 for 10 really doesn't help you a whole lot.
Yeah, with 7 minutes to go, Utah gets it back outside to Gazelle. Entry pass. And a foul called on Mikal Bridges, the redshirt freshman from Malvern, Pennsylvania.
Using both sides of the floor, that allows you to get a guy in the baseline when the perimeter opens up, and by Villanova doing their work on the perimeter, not letting Iowa find any quick shots. And even the free throws haven't been going down for Iowa today.
This is Woodbury at the line, the senior out of Sioux City. 7-1, 250. And one of the heroes in the overtime win, his putback at the buzzer, provided Iowa with a 2-point victory over the Temple Owls.
It's a pass that they were working on in practice yesterday, Vern, when they knew the trap and the press was going to come. You go over the top on your entry pass. It's a simple thing, but it breaks the press almost with one pass.
6:40 to go. And the lead is 20. Jenkins. That is for 3. This is the first game of 2 here at Barclays in Brooklyn. And take a look at the East bracket, will you? North Carolina, Indiana will play in Philly on Friday. Notre Dame and Stephen F. Austin, approximate tip time of 2:40. That's the second game here. And I hope all of you had at least a bit of a chance to watch the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin. Not many in the country know about them, but they're learning.
Well, West Virginia knows.
Yeah.
And they play the same style of pace that West Virginia does. So they're very, on the defensive end, a whole lot of fun to watch. Whether they can duplicate that effort, Notre Dame is hoping not.
Gazelle got him.
Iowa foul is number 10, Mike Gazelle. His 4th, team 5th.
That's his 4th.
Back in for Iowa number 5, Anthony Clemens. He replaces Mike Gazelle.
Anthony Clemens on. That is the Fifth team foul on Iowa. Archie Diacono. Reach around. That was a nice move. Get out of the way of the ball. Ain't going to touch me.
Clemens started out early in this game, if you recall, Vern, from a point guard defensively. 2 quick fouls took him out of the game.
Here's Clemens. Peter Jock. And one.
Shows you a little bit of the ability of Jock, the way he can take the ball. He's a good shooter, too, from the outside. And that's why Arcidiacono came out, and he goes flying right by him to the hoop.
Second foul on Darrell Reynolds, and Jock with a free throw. Well, he's an 86% free throw shooter, and almost inexplicably, yesterday, late game situations, he missed the second of 2 free throw attempts. He did it twice.
And after the way that in the regulation, when Iowa fouled this 3-point shooter, DeCozy goes to the line, hits 3 huge free throws. Might have been a walk, but he gets away with it. Somehow Iowa came back and won that game against Temple.
Yeah. That one knocked out of bounds. Let's check in with Allie LaForce.
Thank you, Vern. I'm sitting behind Jalen Brunson on the bench, and I can't help but notice that he's constantly being coached by Coach Wright, by the assistant coaching staff. And I say that because he was shaped as a player by his father, Rick, who had a 9-year NBA career before coaching at the college and the pro levels. And he said he knows the balance between being a dad and being a coach, but he's always trying to make him a better player. He told me a great story about after he won the state championship at Stevenson High School in Illinois. His father said to him, "Congratulations, I'm proud of you, son. But that play won't work at the college level. We have a lot to work on." So always coaching his son.
Well, his dad is in the house. There's Rick.
Your place is Ryan Arcidiacono.
And that's what fathers do, Vern.
Yeah, that's right.
Keep the pressure on.
Chew gum and keep your arms folded. Well, he was a star at Temple, 91 to 95. A lot of folks, I think, were in Philadelphia. We're anticipating another game between Temple and Villanova. You ever played in the Palestra?
I did when I was a freshman at Duke.
Did you?
It was a great experience.
Yeah, that's one of those bucket list things.
Exactly. But then again, would Temple would have liked to have been here in this first half trying to guard Villanova?
Well, good point.
I don't think anybody wanted to play Villanova in the first half today.
Villanova 4-0 against the other city teams from the corner. That's this year. Brunson. Shot clock at 5. Nice.
Even when they get the broken plays and Iowa gets a couple of deflections, Villanova figures out a way to get it to happen. Whew. Wow. If he's scoring at the offensive end and playing defense like this to clog up the rim, Villanova against Seton Hall had trouble for a little period of time, but Seton Hall beat Villanova their last loss in the Big East tournament. But if that big fella steps up and continues to play like he did against Asheville defensively and now against Iowa, they'll be in pretty good shape.
Well, that last loss, here's the shot from the corner, taken down. They're going to slow the pace. 4:10 to go in this one. That last loss to Seton Hall in Madison Square Garden in the Big East Championship cost Villanova a #1 seed.
Correct.
And it cost them a potential trip back home because that regional is in Philadelphia. And instead, the winner of this game is going to head to Louisville.
And they just caught Seton Hall at the wrong time. Seton Hall was playing well and had some trouble. And
the last time Villanova advanced to the Sweet 16 was back in 2009, defeating UCLA in the round of 32 by a score of 89 to 69. They reached the Elite Eight. Scotty Reynolds, 94 feet for the layup against Pitt as the clock wound down. And Villanova went to its first Final Four since they won the championship 1985 over Georgetown.
And those plays are so memorable, aren't they? Certain ones just stick out.
Scotty Reynolds now playing professionally in Israel, Jay Wright telling us. Here's Utah, step back, and Reynolds with the rebound. Well, they're 3 minutes and 38 seconds from getting that elephant kicked out of the room.
And they might be able to strike up the band right now and dance a little bit further.
Yeah. You know, it's just been almost an obsession with the fans. And Jay Wright said we haven't ignored it. I mean, we're aware that they lost in the first round as a #1 seed. Twice they lost in the second round as a #2 seed. But they are close to not having to discuss that anymore.
And Jay Wright, I'm sure, is thinking, how do I get my guys to just kind of play a little smarter right the last minute or two so we can end it on an up note, even though this is a huge up note, up 22.
You know, it just strikes me, if you had Jay Wright's clothing allowance, you could feed a family of 5 for 6.5 months. Why do I think that's not off the rack?
I don't think so either.
On the line for Villanova, Darryl Reynolds, shooting 1 and 1.
He didn't have to really break a sweat in that suit today either,
not
did
today,
he?
no.
Paul Bridges checks in for
One or
Villanova.
two early calls from the officials. Jay was working it, but this was...
Jay came by before the game, and he said, rather quietly, I hope to see you next week. And then he paused and looked at us. He said, I really hope to see you next week. As if to say, we got to win this thing. And they will. Layup is good. 3 minutes to go. Brunson to the right, gets it. I like his game.
Yeah, I do too. And, you know, having the guards, from when they get a lead, and obviously they've been playing with this from 30 points or so, 34-point lead. You envision the next stop when it's a close game, having these guards that shoot the ball well, and as a team, they're just under, you know, 80% as a team. How do you come back if they get a lead on you?
Foul is on Bear. Jared Utoff, his career about to come to an end. As we said, he's in graduate school, seeking a career. He's an academic All-American. As a matter of fact, he was the academic player of the year. And he's got so many skills. Jared Utoff.
Yeah, a great career, and you feel sadly that it wasn't everybody in this tournament, except the winner, goes home basically demoralized and crying. But you just like to see guys who've put in that effort at least play a competitive game. And if you lose, so be it. This one was pretty much over at the 10-minute mark in the first half.
Sure was. And Archie Diacono gets a chance to rest. He's got another game to play. Here's Utah. Yes.
Gets a shot off fast, though, doesn't he?
You bet.
Iowa calls a 30-second timeout.
Iowa calls time at 79-61. Tomorrow, what happens after the Girl of Steel turns on her own city? Catch a new Supergirl tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. Well, Iowa Hawkeyes, here's the apple pass. That was relatively easy.
I don't think Supergirl is going to help.
No, I don't either. Clemens, 4 senior starters for the Hawkeyes. Jock is the only one who will return.
His first team night.
How about Villanova's last play?
Just go over the top. Iowa obviously just leaning towards the ball, pressuring. Good time to go over the top for the layup. And it's much easier to go over the top when you're leading by 18 at that point than it is when you're up 2.
Anthony Clemens, one of the 4 seniors. 5 points now.
What a concept burn, too. I was thinking in the first half, you know, the way it was going for Villanova. You can't do this in sports, but you're playing so well and you're shooting so well, you almost want to bottle some of it and bring it to the next game and hope there's a carryover, but it doesn't work that way. So Jay Wright knows who's ever up next for him, they have to continue to play this defense like they have this afternoon and hope they get transition points on it.
Reynolds will go back to the line. Well, Villanova, many thought all year, really. They reached #1 for the first time ever on February 8th, but one of 6 #1 teams in the AP poll. They lose to Seton Hall, but they've obviously gotten it together now. Can they run the table?
Well, you know what, Vern, can they shoot their way to a championship? Okay. I think it's going to come to that because they will run across teams that have big guys down low that will squeeze the middle of the floor on them. But, you watch them in the first half, and I haven't seen many teams this year play a better half of basketball. The question becomes, can they duplicate that? I don't think you can. That's how good that was in the first half.
Clemens back at the line.
And again, with this so far, this first weekend, who knows what's going to happen? Quite candidly, I did not think you were going to have Seton Hall go up 30 on Iowa.
Yeah.
So that was a surprise to me in the beginning of this game, that they really did it so easily and so confidently. And they just, I'm not saying that Iowa didn't show up. I think that's a negative because guys come and they really want to play and they go for it. But Villanova made it seem like they didn't show up today.
Yeah, at one point up 34 points.
Right.
That's his 5th personal.
54-29 at the half. And Mike Gazelle has just fouled out. He's another of the seniors out of South Sioux City, Nebraska. So his career as a Hawkeye has come to an end.
It's amazing how the emotions change too, Vern. You remember the other night with the win against Temple, the buzzer beater, the fans over there for Iowa, the team exploded in joy, and now you can't find a smile anywhere.
One of 2, Peter Jock rebound. Clemens got it.
Anthony Clemens.
It's been pretty easy breaking that press, hasn't it?
Sure has.
Bang. Oh.
Well.
Basketball. Back in for Villanova, number 3, Josh Hart, number 15, Orion Archie.
This is odd.
Yeah, it is. He's putting I don't know what. He's putting Archie Diacono back on the floor.
Isn't it pretty much the starters?
Yes, Ochefu is back on the floor. Hart is back on the floor. Jenkins, he's got his starting 5 back.
Trying to figure this one out, whether or not Jay Wright is thinking the end of the game he would want this team on the floor, but I don't get that. And the other thing I can think of is he can't be that nervous with 1:15 left.
No. Hart, they'll work on the clock. Back outside. Jumper at the buzzer, and it will count. That's what he had in mind.
Good move, Jay.
That's what he had in mind. Let's milk the clock and hit a 3.
Well, now more subs are coming up.
Yep. And a standing O for Villanova from its fans.
Not a subs. I don't know what's going on in their bench over there.
No.
They're taking jerseys off. They're putting them back on. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, Jay is going to clean the... Oh, dear.
That's not going to...
Watch out. Clemens. Now he's trying to apologize, but oh, brother. Archie Diacono comes in to have a conversation. Nice piece of officiating.
Sure was.
Mike Stevens got there really quickly.
I thought the worst of this came to watch right now with the headbutt.
Yeah.
Inadvertently, Arch goes against Woodbury, and you see him back out of there, and now they're just holding on to one another. That's okay. I mean, it just tangled up. Even if it wasn't a blowout, I think you let that go.
Archie Diacono hits the free throw.
Now, maybe he did this to show the appreciation for these guys coming out.
It could be. Maybe that's it, Okay, they're out with 30.2 seconds to go in the game.
You know, and Jay may be figuring also, do all of these fans travel with them to the next site? So maybe this is the last time some of these people will see them play this season in person. So,
and Utah gets a standing O from the Iowa fans. Not much to cheer about for the last 2.5 hours. But Jared Uthoff's career comes to an end. He had 16 points, 6 rebounds. Ryan Arcidiacono, last starter off the court. Jumper, got it. Andrew Fleming, the freshman, with the basket.
Well, the second half was okay, Vern.
Yeah.
First half, that was a haymaker. That was a big old haymaker that Villanova threw at Iowa.
Like they got hit with elephant tusks. You can go ahead and kick the elephant out of the room.
68.
Moving forward, as they say. Jared Uthoff, brilliant career for the Hawkeyes. Arcidiacono and his head coach, Joe and Patty Arcidiacono. They will be in Louisville, we know that. Coming up on CBS, back with Stephen F. Austin and Notre Dame. Our final score, 87-68. For Allie LaForce, Jim Spinarco, Vern Lundquist will send you to our New York studio for Capital One Tournament Central. That comes up after these messages.